Oh hey, we're at the beach today. We're going to play a bit of beach volleyball. Well, I brought my own net system, one I actually made myself. We're going to set it up, but first I'm going to give you some tips on how you can play safe on the beach by setting up your own system. Just a few little tricks so you don't hurt yourself or someone else when you're playing beach volleyball. Cool, eh? Come on, let's go. Hey, it's a great day for beach volleyball, isn't it? You bet. Okay, but we're down here on the beach and we brought our own equipment, our own nets, our own poles, our own boundaries. Now we have to set it up, but there's some safety tips you have to know while you're setting up your equipment, just to play safe. When you're setting up your own equipment, you're going to need this, the hammer. That's right, some people even bring a big sledgehammer, but this is probably all you're going to need, a regular household hammer. But don't forget, when you're hitting in your stakes and your pegs, this hammer makes the top ends very sharp. You want to bring that surface below the level of the sand so no one falls on it, steps on it, trips on it, anything, because it'll cut you like a razor. These things are sharp. Find out where you want your stake to go in. Now dig a hole with your hand deep enough so the stake goes well below the level of the sand when you hammer it in. Don't forget that top of the stake is going to be very sharp. The hammer makes it sharp. Way down there, that's it. Cover it over with sand so it's below the level of the sand. Someone steps on it, hey, it's not going to hurt them. Well done, well done. Let's look at the same thing from the top. Dig the deep hole, put the stake in, put it on an angle, hammer it in, that's it. And now you got to cover it over. See, the top of that stake is not going to go through the top of someone's foot if they step on it. Safe. Well done. Good job. I know of 3 very serious cuts that were brought about from people landing on top of a sharp stake. Yeah, that was sharpened by the end of a hammer. One was from knee right down to ankle. Split the whole front of the leg open. I saw that happen twice. And I've also seen someone split their knee open, wide open, from landing on top of a stake. So just remember, make sure everything you put in the sand is below the level of the sand. That way, no one can cut themselves on it, no one can trip themselves on it. Got it? Now, when some people put in their boundaries, they leave the tops above the level of the sand, thinking no one's going to step on it. Don't do that. Always make sure your stakes, your pegs are below the level of the sand. Now, don't underestimate the power of these little tent pegs. I made this myself. Notice I took one of these things, a little plastic peg, and I bent it with a little bit of heat from a candle. And you put these in the sand, and if you step on it with your foot, it just bounces back. Even though I still will bury this under the sand, it's not going to cut you, it's not going to stick in your foot. Something like this, if you use it as a peg, if you leave that in the sand, someone's going to step on that. It's going to go between their toes or right through their foot. It's going to hurt. And believe me, it happens. So make sure you play safe. Bury that peg underneath the sand. Best way to do it is to actually scoop out the sand, make a little hole, push the peg in with your hand. You don't need your foot. And then cover it over. Put it in on about a 45-degree angle. Works great. I'm telling you, it works great. Oh yes, and if you're playing volleyball on a public beach, don't forget to check the sand over before you play. There might be sticks and stones and little things lying under the sand, even broken glass, but you might run into some nasty stuff like syringes and who knows what. So check the sand, because you just never know what's underneath and what the people left there from the day before. So check it. Be safe before you play. Oh yes, don't forget what happened a couple of summers ago in Toronto. Yes, there are some crazy people out there who purposely leave stuff under the sand so people get hurt. So check the sand over before you play, because you just never know what's going to be underneath the surface. If you've ever shot video before, you'll know that no matter how deserted the place is, someone will always walk through your shot.
Another beautiful day at beach volleyball has ended. Now it's time to pack up and go home. Don't forget your equipment all buried under the sand. Yes, you brought 4 stakes to hold up the nets. You also brought 4 pegs to hold down your boundaries. Bring them. Don't forget them in the sand because it'll hurt someone tomorrow. That's it. Zip up the bag. It's time to go home.